Hello people and welcome to my ants. Today I'm going to be talking about one of the coolest and most popular species in ant keeping, Messor Barbarus. Let's start with the location. Messor Barbarus are found throughout quite a bit of Europe, though they mainly reside in the Iberian Peninsula, where they thrive in semi-arid lands. And what's really cool is the way they have adapted to such lands, because they mainly have one big characteristic, seed harvesting, which is where their common name of seed harvesting ants comes from. As the name suggests, these ants love collecting different seeds from various plants that they can find in their locations, and storing them inside special chambers in their nests, which of course are mostly dry, meaning that most seeds will not germinate. However, some of the seeds will, and this is where the plant benefits from this relationship, as the seeds will be dispersed by the Messor Barbarus in their various chambers inside their nests. Now, the Messor Barbarus also like to eat insects whenever they have the chance to, but their main food source is always going to be seeds. Furthermore, they like to make this ant bread type of thing by the seeds. They chew the seeds and by mixing them with the saliva they can create this food which is much easier to eat, allowing them to feed it to their larvae. In terms of appearance, Messor Barbarus are quite unique. They are medium-sized ants which show a lot of polygyny and have this ball-segmented type of body, making them easily recognizable. The queens are a bit different, mainly being identified by their almost rectangular-like thorax and larger size. It should also be noted that some workers, mainly the majors, appear to have red heads, and most, if not all, queens have red heads. And of course, this varies from colony to colony as each has different genes, but if you're looking to buy some, you usually find that the more noticeably red-headed Messor Barbarus are more expensive. In some rare cases, even bicolor Messor Barbarus queens and workers have been found, meaning that not only are their heads red, but their abdomen too, and in my opinion, they are absolutely gorgeous. Now, I should mention worker sizes. As I previously said, they are polygynous, so their workers range in size. In this case, from 3mm up to around 14mm. The queens are slightly larger than the largest workers at around 16mm, though not only does the body length get bigger as you look at the larger workers, but also their heads. This is again them being very adapted to their environment as they use their massive heads to crush through seeds, pretty much allowing the colony to be able to get even more food from seeds, as otherwise they wouldn't be able to crush the largest of the seeds. A very cool thing they do is form these lines, more properly known as foraging trails. If you ever see Messor Barbarus in the wild, you see very often that you'll see them very often making these trails as they go from various plants to their nest, often carrying loads of seeds. These trails can go on for long distances, though from my experience they are usually around 4 meters long at max. I'm not sure if they do this in captivity though. I doubt it, but if someone in the comments could tell me then, it'd be appreciated. As for nuptial flights, Messor Barbarus fly around in the months of September to October, almost always going on their flights after it rains. The queens and drones will leave their nests and take to the skies, getting most of themselves killed by wasps and birds. Though for the few surviving queens, a smaller fraction of them can begin a colony, and can even grow their colonies to become massive successes with thousands of ants and many seeds in their nests. Care. Messor Barbarus are popular not just because of what I said, but also because of their rather easy care. They are quite sturdy ants, and because of their niche with seeds, feeding them is easier than what it is for most ants. In fact, they barely need any type of honey or sugar water. They get all their carbohydrates from the seeds. As I just implied, their main source of food is going to be seeds. In my experience, giving them pet shop bird seeds is very effective, and I've never really known anyone who has had a problem giving them the seeds, as they are very easygoing for any seed types. As for insects, I do recommend providing them with some, just not as many as you would with other colonies. However, two main problems can arise when keeping Messor Barbarus: messy outwards and seeds germinating in their nest. More so when keeping them in test tubes, as you'll quite often find that the seeds will germinate, potentially taking over an entire test tube which was meant for your ants. Now, there's two solutions to this. One is by restricting their seed intake so that all the seeds they have will quickly be made into the ant bread, which is starting to germinate. The second solution, which cannot be done in just test tube setups, is to provide them with a dry chamber in their nests. The ants are smart and will know to put their seeds here to prevent their germination. Note that if you're keeping them in a naturalistic setup, it's basically the same. Just water some bits of their nest and leave some dry, but remember to keep it consistent. In respect to the messy outwards, it's self-explanatory. Messor Barbarus are really messy ants and will easily make a mess out of their outward. pulling cotton buds off their cotton they find in their outward, and ruining whatever look you've made by scattering dirt in random places. It often ends up looking like this. Of course, the solution is just to clean their outwards often, which can be very high maintenance, especially when the colony goes to really big sizes, but at that point, what species isn't? In terms of temperature and humidity, the ants will require little humidity. They love having their nests almost dry. For temperature, I recommend keeping them around 25 degrees. From where they come from, it gets really hot, sometimes even surpassing 40 degrees, though this is uncommon and they keep themselves cool in their dry chambers. But always remember to give them a gradient on both variables, if possible on temperature. Messor Barbarus will accept pretty much any types of nests: white tongue, acrylic, naturalistic, test tubes, and even cork. But remember that cork tests may not be the greatest of ideas, as they love to make a mess out of them. Colony growth and sizes. Coming from a warmer climate, Messor Barbarus are rather fast-growing ants, quickly getting to 100 workers in 1 year and producing the latest in the third, given the right conditions. They will continue growing until around a mid-thousand workers, sometimes even more. Unfortunately, they will only ever have one queen, so once the queen dies, there's no hope of having a colony recover. And if you wanted tens of thousands of Messor Barbarus worker, then it's simply not possible, unless you're crazy and you start brood boosting with thousands of pupae. Diapause and hibernation. Due to living in southern Europe, where temperatures remain warmer during the winter, Messor Barbarus will actually undergo something called diapause instead of hibernation, though it's basically mini hibernation from what I know. They would like to remain at around 14 degrees Celsius from around the end of November to the end of February, though maybe a little later. Of course, remember that when making them enter diapause, you should slowly have them undergo the process, i.e. lower the temperature by 1 degree every other day. Also, don't forget to give them more seeds during this period, as in nature the ants will be collecting more seeds to survive the diapause, similar to a bear. How to obtain Messor Barbarus. For those living in southern Spain, I've pretty much already explained it. They have nuptial flights from September to October, and it's really hard to miss them since they are very common ants and very distinguishable. You can also order them from Spanish shops like Ant House and Order Mirando, which usually give them away for free. Now, for those living in northern Spain and those living outside of Spain, you can pretty much find them in any ant shop. I barely know of any that don't actually sell Messor Barbarus. But remember to be smart when ordering. If you're looking for a queen, order one around September, October, so that she is in the healthiest state possible. I often find that when ordering queens late into the year, or even during their diapause, they will just die. If you're looking for a colony, I recommend ordering around March, April, as by this time most queens would have come out of diapause and will be having their first workers. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video and have a better understanding of Messor Barbarus and why they are such amazing ants. I know I'm looking forward to giving some again this September, which I will of course be uploading to the channel. Now, have a good day.